Hey, good morning, guys. It's Mike from Purple Times, and I am sitting here with the one and only Jessica Pilgrim. A lot of you guys don't know her from Sahoma Lanes, but she's actually kind of doing a lot of new things now, and that's why I brought her on the show to talk about them. Welcome to the Time Loop.
Thank you. Thank you for having me this morning.
Yeah, happy to have you. The first time, actually. I was kind of surprised about that. I'm doing that a lot now. I'm bringing people on that I've known for a while, and I'm like, this is the first time you've been here. This is
Yeah.
so
In your
everybody
defense,
just
you've
show
come
up.
to us a lot, but we just haven't gotten to sit down and
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. I mean, that's really what it is. But if you recognize Jessica, you might have seen her. You've been in a lot of the promotional videos and stuff for Sahoma Lanes
hmm
lately, and that is hearing your story about how that's such a great like family endeavor. We're going to talk about that for sure. But then I specifically invited you on because you've also kind of taken a turn into kind of a new endeavor that you're doing, a new journey on women's empowerment and things like
Yes.
that. So we're going to talk about that too. But let's start with the basics. Jessica, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you grew up in the bowling alley, right?
I did. I did. Um, and that has been such a blessing. Yeah. My grandfather built the bowling center in 1960. It's been a family owned and operated business ever since. I actually started dating my husband because of the bowling alley.
Oh, nice.
So lots of great things have come from there. It's been really awesome.
Really. And did you said you grew up like working there and stuff, but I don't always remember you being a part of it. Did you leave the bowling alley and come back at some point or what?
I did. I mean, the bowling alley's always been a part of me,
Okay.
but I've always been the bowling alley girl, but I am a nurse, so I went to nursing school, decided, hey, let's have a few kids. And so I started working there when I was 13 as a party hostess because I wanted my own money so that I could buy my own Dr. Pepper because my mom wouldn't buy Dr. Pepper. That's really why I
Is
started
that why?
working there. And then
Dr.
it
Pepper.
just kind of spiraled. I became a nurse, went down that career path and didn't go there a whole lot. But ever since around 2021, 2022, I've really been back pretty hot and heavy. So
Yeah, and it's not even I guess it's not even your full-time job, right? I mean,
no,
you still serve as an ICU burn
I
nurse and
do.
stuff,
I
don't you?
proudly serve as a burn ICU nurse. That's a big part of my story for sure.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but I would like to know if you don't mind talking about what it is that led back to you jumping back into the bowling alley about 2021, 2022.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so a lot of people already know, but my dad passed away. My dad, Clay, he was a big part of the bowling alley and part of that. Prior to his passing, it was an unexpected passing, and him and my mom had planned to purchase it from my Uncle Wayne, who was owning it at the time because he was ready to retire.
Okay.
And my dad passing was huge for our family, obviously, major hit, major setback. But what was so empowering was my mom was like, this was our plan. We're going to do it anyway. Will you help me? And
Oh,
she
okay.
sat my husband and I down and she was like, this is going to be a big endeavor. I'm going to need help, but we're going to do it. And I'm like, Mom, like, not to throw, women can't do anything kind of thing, but this is primarily a male-driven industry.
Yeah.
It's was a lot of money, it was a lot of time, and she has handled it with so much grace. And I came alongside her and I'm like, you tell me what you need. And so I've just came on as a leadership position again. You don't see me behind the counter a whole lot because I'm doing a lot of behind the scenes things. I do a lot of our hiring. I train our employees. We do a lot of, we try to empower our employees, and that's something I love. And so I do a lot of that, and I do a lot of our marketing stuff now. And then you'll see my husband up there. He's recently left his full-time job and came there full-time
Oh,
to
really?
do, yeah, to do all that. So you'll see me, you'll see my husband, you'll see my sisters, my kids, everybody's up there.
Well, I love that it's continued to be a family operation, especially, in the face of that kind of a tragedy like your mom experienced. It would be real easy to just say, "Hey, we're done. The patriarch has left the building here, so we're just gonna, that's an end of the chapter or an
Mhm.
end of the story." But you guys just chose it to make an end to a chapter and start a new chapter.
We did because something I talk about a lot is the legacy. And when my grandpa Guy Bolin built this, we have done so much work to keep his legacy alive.
Hmm.
And so it just wouldn't fit who we are to stop because of something tragic. Tragedy builds legacy. It really does. And so that was something super incredible to watch, is just not only keeping my grandpa's legacy alive, but now we've been able to incorporate. My dad wanted us to do everything no matter the limits. I mean, he came from nothing. And so there was no other option. I mean, we had to keep going, and we did, and it's been great.
So how has it been being women in a largely male-dominated industry? Was that difficult to overcome? Did people think that you guys weren't going to make it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So many times we heard, well, third generation, that's when it runs to the ground.
Hmm.
And a lot of people just looked at my mom as somebody who didn't know what she was doing. My mom has ran multiple businesses. She's done incredible things in her life, and she's one of those people that when she gets something on her mind, she's unstoppable, and that's a trait that I have inherited from her proudly. And so between the two of us, and of course my sister doing what she can in the background, it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay.
So,
That's good to know because I
yes.
think maybe a lot of folks might have wondered about that. While we're talking about the bowling alley too, I really love the importance that you guys place on being a place for families to hang out. But
Mhm.
I noticed that you've also started calling out some of these other centers that are trying to expand. They're becoming more than bowling alleys, and we've got a few of them around the Tulsa area. You'll recognize them. You guys have steadfastly kind of refused to try and be like the all-encompassing kind of event center. Why do you guys do that?
Sahoma Lanes was built on clean family fun, and that is what we will stand by. We'll update when it's necessary, but bowling is just what brings people through the door. It's the community aspect that gets them to stay. And while I have respect for those other places that are large and doing all these different going down all these different avenues of family entertainment center type of model.
Hmm.
So Home Lanes will stay the clean family fun, because we don't just serve kids and young families. We have senior bowlers that are 90 years old that have bowled with us for 60 years.
Yep.
And so we want to keep that recognizable to them too.
Okay.
Mhm.
And kind of on that same note, last time I talked with you, you were talking about trying to venture into a brand new thing in the bowling space with homeschoolers, I believe is what you
Yes.
said, right? What's going on with that?
So we have recently, so Oklahoma has always had an Oklahoma high school bowling program that's been free to high school athletes. Sapulpa has a team. Our
Yep.
local
We've got
local high schools
scholarships
do. Yeah.
for those actually.
Yes.
Yep.
And there's so much scholarship money in bowling that's so missed out on. But what we realize is that we're missing a large community, and that's your homeschool community. So I partnered with some of the other bowlers and employees in our center, and we created Oklahoma Homeschool High School Bowling. We had our first season last year. It was incredible. Micah, I can't even tell you the unmatched sportsmanship that we saw and the
Really?
community aspect with these kids who had never met. But it gives homeschool kiddos the opportunity to have a program that's just like the high school bowling program. And our goal this year is to kind of integrate them. They won't be together, but they will bowl at the same time.
Okay.
And then maybe, as you know, at some point we can put them to compete against each other, because we have some pretty dang good homeschool bowlers.
Oh, I know. Well, I guess I don't know, but I would imagine
Yes. Well, a lot of them they come up during the day when there's not a lot of people there, and they bowl a lot of games and they practice and they're good.
they're getting their practice
Yes.
in.
But
So,
you don't have to be good.
okay.
We have coaching. You don't even have to have a ball. We have scholars, or we have donors that people donate equipment for these kids. Like, it is completely free at Sahoma Lanes, and it will stay that way because we want every kid that is interested in bowling to have the opportunity to enjoy the sport. And it's so much more than just able-bodied people, as far as anybody with a disability, anybody can bowl, because we can accommodate them no matter what.
Really?
So that's what's really
Good.
cool. I mean, that's why we love Special Olympics so much, because these athletes come out, they're athletes, and they come out
Yeah.
and they compete, and they're incredible. And if you haven't considered coming bowling, this is not a sales pitch. You're really missing out on the
Regardless
community.
of
Yeah.
how able-bodied you might be.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
That's actually an interesting point. I don't think we talked about that specific aspect before, but you did mention one other thing I wanted to bring up, and I remember the last time I spoke with you and your mom about this, you guys made a very big point about scholarship money and bowling. Apparently, this is like one of the big untapped resources in college funding. Do you know anything else about that?
Yeah, so we have, I mean, they don't even have to compete in a lot of tournaments. They don't have to be a good bowler. There's like different scholarship opportunities that they can win money. My husband funded his EMT classes and some other Central Tech classes completely with bowling scholarship money, and he didn't bowl in a lot of tournaments after the age of like 10 or 12.
Wow.
So
Okay.
there's a lot. We have local scholarships, we have all kinds of stuff.
You do. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
What did it take to get that? You need to join the high school team or the homeschool high school team, or
You don't even have to be a high schooler. We have youth leagues.
really?
Angie, our youth director, is phenomenal. She spends so much time and effort and puts so much into these kids. And they bowl on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Okay.
So you guys will have more information about fall youth leagues too. But it's a cheap option. I think that it's like $8 or $10 a week for them to bowl, and they bowl 3 games. And
Oh,
then
really? Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
so it's I mean it's cheap and it's climate controlled. That's what
Yeah,
it
air conditioned. Yeah,
Yes.
which we're certainly enjoying right now for
Yes.
sure. So that's awesome. Okay. So if people want to learn more about that, do they just come see you guys at Sahoma Lanes, or
We post a lot on our Facebook page. So if they don't want to physically come in, they can always reach out to us on Messenger and I will connect them with the correct, whether it's myself or Keith or Angie or whomever youth director would benefit them the most. But that's a good place to start is Facebook because that's where you'll see a lot. So
okay?
Sahoma Lanes on Facebook.
All right. Speaking of Facebook, we got several of you guys joining us on Facebook. So if you have any questions for Jessica while we're doing our show, just go ahead and put them in the comments, and I will do my best to get your questions answered. But now we are going to pivot now because Sahoma Lanes is where the story starts, but it's certainly not where it ends. It's just a chapter in the amazing story that has become Jessica Pilgrim's journey. I would like to talk about how you transitioned into kind of this new. Um, I keep using the word journey a lot because it really seems to be appropriate to what you're doing now. Where I mean, you've written a book,
Mhm.
you're doing speaking engagements and building a brand around what exactly? Tell people.
So, just a short piece of my story. So, we talked about my dad a little bit. In
Mhm.
2021, my dad passed away 11 days before I had my son, his first grandson.
Okay.
And so the battle through postpartum depression and a lot of things that it took to get out of there, um, that's where this came from. The Lord spoke to me and said, I gave you this pain so that you could help other people. And so I'm like in an airplane on the way back from a bowling conference. I took a lot of my journal entries that my therapist had encouraged me to write and I put them together and I wrote Beauty from Ashes. And so that's my first book. I'm actually working on a second one that's more leaning towards women's empowerment
Okay.
because I just remember and I attribute so much of my growth to those women who all of those women who empowered me, whether it was the people on podcasts that I watched. Jennifer Allwood is one of my favorite. I read Fear is Not the Boss of Me,
Mm.
and I read that during my postpartum disaster, if you will, that I was living in, and I talk about that in my book. But I wanted to feel better, and I knew that I had 2 little girls, so I had 4 little eyes, and then my son, but he was still a baby, but especially my girls that were watching me, and I had no choice, but I was at a crossroad, and it's like, I can go this way and I can live in this forever, or we can make something of it because I can't change it. And
Okay.
so that's how all of this has sparked into empowering women. I speak to a lot of women. I have not battled addiction, but I speak to a lot of women who are battling addiction
Hmm.
um, just to show them that someone's on their team and that they can overcome anything with the Lord on their side and with a community of people. And so, and a lot of women that are going through grief, I speak to them a lot. So I'm really excited. We have an event coming up in October. I'm going to partner with the Demand Project, and it's going to be called Wildfire Girls because we have Wildfire Women. That's my women's empowerment community.
Okay.
But Wildfire Girls is going to be ages 8 through 18 with their trusted adult, whether it be a mom, sister, aunt, friend, mentor. We're partnering with the Demand Project and we're going to teach them. We're going to talk about worth and identity and everything, but we're also going to talk about ways that the trusted adults can keep their girls safe in this social media and tech age and all the trafficking and
Yeah.
all the different things. I'm really excited about that, and there will be more information on that too. And we're looking for partners. So if anybody finds it on their heart that wants to partner with us and help us get this going, I think it's going to be huge.
Okay. Yeah, be sure to reach out to us and we'll get you in touch with them for sure if you're interested in that. Now, you said something that I want to circle back on, if you don't mind elaborating on it a little bit. You said that God told you, I gave you this pain so that you could help others, right? So, when people are faced with that kind of realization, I guess, wouldn't you have rather just not had the pain?
N-
How do you feel like
mm,
uh,
They're a really hard question.
well, I know, and I know I didn't mean it
That's
to be, but
no,
I
I'm
did.
glad you asked because honestly, I've asked myself this. And if nobody's heard of John O'Leary, he's a burn victim that he's in a movie called Soul on Fire, and he was asked this question.
Mhm.
If he could go back and change his burn and the accident that happened, would he? And that's unimaginable pain, physically and emotionally. And I would give anything to have my dad here. I would give anything for him to see his grandson that's literally a miniature version of him.
Yeah.
But if I'm being really honest with you, when I look at the big picture, I cannot imagine m- where I would be. I would be fine, but I would be living very nonchalant because I wouldn't understand and value life like I do. My dad was 50. He was playing cornhole. He had a heart attack.
Yeah.
And in the midst of everything that's going on in our community right now, it's evident that life is short and our life is a book and we don't know our last chapter. So I may be on chapter 32 right now, but 33 might be it for me and I don't know. So when somebody talks about my legacy, I want them to talk about how I lived no matter what. And that's what I live by.
Regardless of the pain that you went through to
Yeah.
get there.
Mm.
Okay. That's a really powerful statement, I think. Not enough people really realize that. It's like you said earlier, like tragedy is what creates
I mean,
legacy.
working in the burn ICU, I see it every day. I see people dance with death. I mean, it's part of my job.
Yeah, you told me
And
that.
none of them are asking for another car. None of them are asking for money. They're literally asking for more time. And and I get the chance to ask them what they would do with it. And it would not be promoting at their job. It would not be buying the elaborate house. It would be spending it with their family and doing everything that they ever wanted to do, all of their bucket list items, their goals, that's what they would do.
Really?
And so that has changed me. I wouldn't change a thing. It's a really hard to say because that seems really selfish because I want my dad back.
Sure.
I wish I could have him and still understand all that I do now, but I don't because that wasn't God's plan for me.
And you wouldn't understand it if you hadn't have gone through that,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Last time we talked, you talked quite a bit about being an ICU nurse, and
Mhm.
I kind of gave her this question of, because it was obvious talking to you that you love that work.
I do.
And she's extremely passionate about it. And for me, someone who, just hates to see when people are in pain like that, because that is one of the most, if not the most, like painful experience that somebody can endure.
Mhm.
Not just the experience of going through being burned, but then doing the skin grafts and all that comes along with it. And you've had a lot of personal experience in that. So, what is it that why do you love it so much? Because I mean, you're just surrounded by agonizing pain all the time, it seems like.
I love it because I get to walk alongside them
Mhm.
and I get to encourage them. I can't tell you how many people would say just when I'm cleaning their skin or making them walk or pushing them, they say, just take me out. I don't want to do this anymore. And I get to be the one to look at them and say, you are still breathing for a reason. Now get up.
Okay.
And that is something that I've even had to tell myself. I wasn't physically in pain, but emotionally I was.
Mhm.
Like, God didn't take you. Get up. You don't, you have two choices here. And we get to say that all the time. So, anyway, to save that long, extensive explanation, I love it because I feel like I get to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Okay.
And that's why.
All right. Well, this has been a very powerful episode. Thanks for coming to hang out with me. Hopefully, we'll have you back again
Yeah,
real
love
soon.
it. Thank you.
Um, uh, to get your book and things like that, where can people find that? Can you buy it
You
anywhere?
can buy it on Amazon.
Okay, they
Yeah,
can.
it's Beauty from Ashes. It's a burn nurse's story through tragedy, and it's by me, so it's pretty easy to find. So
Okay.
it's short, easy read, but it's pretty impactful.
Okay. And are you also doing a podcast as
I
well?
am.
Okay.
I am. You can find me on anywhere you get your podcasts. We're about to start season 2. Gonna have some great guests on there, and it's called Uncontainable with Jessica Pilgrim.
Okay. We'll be sure to include links to those on the YouTube version of this when we put it out. So you guys be looking for that. Jessica, thanks for taking the time. I felt
Thank
like we
you.
didn't get enough
Thanks for
time to
having me.
really go through everything. Last time that you and I talked, we spent, I think, over an hour together.
We
So
did.
hard to kind of condense all of that into 20 minutes. But guys, thanks to all of you for being here and looking forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. So thanks again, Jessica.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. Bye bye.